Paris's left bank. By the end of the Roman Empire, the town was known as Parusius, a Latin name that would later become Paris en français. Trading along the Seine River on the Ile de la Cite turned Parusius into an important trading center. Later, Clovis the Frank made the city his capital from 508 after conquering the area.
Paris is the capital of France, which borders Andorra, Belgium, Italy, Germany, Luxembourg, Monaco, Spain, and Switzerland. While Paris is tied to the mainland of Europe, the country is also open to the Atlantic to the west, which allows it to be a big trade center. It also has coast on the Mediterranean Sea to the south and the English Channel to the north. France has a large range of terrain and varied climate and geography. The French often refer to their nation as a hexagon to describe its six-sided shape.
Over the course of history, the population of Paris fluctuated due to Germanic invasions after the fall of the Roman Empire, which caused thousands to die after violence and hostile takeovers, and it also fluctuated due to the Black Plague in Paris, which caused thousands of people to also die.
French history is marked by religious struggles between Catholics and Protestants, mainly due to the wars of religion in the 16th century. Art in Paris is mainly converted between oral traditions and folk tales, which were very popular at the time. Rural communities held velays, in which neighbors gathered in someone's home around the fire to trade stories and tales. France's most important graphic art forms are painting, sculpture, and architecture. The history of French art is also important, including the famous cave paintings in southwestern France. Theater and dance were also practiced and celebrated in Paris, as well as opera.
An important aspect of culture are the French festivals. In modern day, one of the main festivals is La Fête de la Musique, in which they celebrate music on the daily basis in the summer. In addition, the main cultural language of France is, of course, French. It has been around for centuries and centuries at a time, deriving from Latin. In addition, food is a very important aspect of French culture, and they have a heavy emphasis on pastries and bread. Now, more than baguettes, the French people traded everything. One of the areas of major trade was the north-south trade route that crossed the Seine on the Ile de la Cite. This meeting place of land and water trade routes gradually became a town which turned into Paris and an important trading center. So banking in Paris was introduced later on that facilitated the importance of long-distance trade, and they started to use money which spread throughout all of Europe.
Traders used trading ships and would exchange goods for profits and various prices. The wealthy Europeans developed a taste for the finer things in life. Crusades also led to the transfer of spices from Italian merchants. Raw materials for polished goods from the East contained metals and various textiles, and the Vikings traded with Parisians during the Carolingian. And now we'll cut to Maria with politics.
Welcome to the news by Maria and Julie. And right now we're going to be talking about politics in Paris during the Middle Ages. Do you have anything to say about that?
Of course. So the King's Court functioned as an advisory body under the early Capetian kings, and the medieval councils frequently excluded the queen. Close relations to the king, including younger sons, grandsons, and princes of the royal bloodline from the junior branches of the family. Medieval councils generally included the crown prince, if he was of age to attend the council de grands, which was the most powerful members of the church and of the nobility. The council had only a consultative role, and the final decision was always up to the king. The council's purview concerned all matters pertaining to government and royal administration, both in times of war and peace. The Parliament of Paris was born out of the King's Council in 1307, and sitting inside the medieval royal palace.
Do you know anything about the King's Courts?
Yeah, so those who were called upon the council to counsel the king in his administration of the realm took the form of a specific and separate institution called the King's Courts. This was a consultative governing of the country, and it also depended on other intermittent and permanent institutions such as the States General, the Parliament, and the provincial estates.
In Paris, one of the most prominent features of Paris is their architecture. So architecture in Paris has a very Romanesque influence to it. So some important features in Paris is that in 1163, Maurice de Sully began the construction of the infamous Notre Dame Cathedral. Also in 1163, the Palace de la Cité, the royal residence, was moved to the western end of the Ile de la Cité. Later on, in 1215, Philip Augustus extended the Louvre fortress to defend the city against river invasions from the west, which in turn gave the city its first walls and rebuilt its bridges. So the Louvre is now turned into a very famous museum in Paris, but it was around first century centuries. Later on, in 1954, the construction of Paris's first uncovered bridge, Pont Neuf, the Louvre extension that connected the Tuileries Palace, and the first Paris residential square, Place Royale, was also created. So one of the main features of all of these architectural buildings is that during the Carolingian Empire, their use of transept, or the arms of the cross-shaped buildings, gave way to perpendicular buildings and a long nave. And then there was also other features of religious architecture, including the crossing tower.
In fact, Paris's architecture is so good that one of its buildings has 5 stars on Yelp. Jean de Jardin, a philosopher from the outskirts of France, visited Paris in 1323 and says how magnificent some of its architecture truly was. His Yelp review describes how much he loved the Notre Dame Cathedral, and says it was the most glorious church with towers of magnificence and perfection. He says that such craftsmanship represents all of Paris, for where else would someone find such perfection?
Regarding gender relations, women were expected to carry out the domestic tasks in the home, such as housekeeping, food preparations, and childcare. However, they were also involved in farm work. In the wealthier families, husbands typically controlled the wealth and brought home the bacon for their wives. Their wives were dependent on them having limited autonomy in the raising of the children. With the growth of industrialization, family farms involved much less cooperation between husband and wife in economic activities, so typically the wives would maintain the farm front, and men were expected to take care of their wives and children.
All of this is fun, but wouldn't it be nice if we actually went to France?
Paris, baby.
Bonjour! We're going to Paris, guys. Let's go! Guys, we're at the Louvre right now. It's so pretty. I can't believe we're actually finally here with my best friend. We wanted to show you guys some of the food that we have.
It's so tasty.
It's so good. So hold on, let me show you. I'll flip the camera.
Well, now that we're in Paris, we have to show you guys some of the amazing food that we have. We have crepes. We have, like I said, the croissant.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant. Croissant.
No one's next as incredibly croissant for the
Of eating bread.
And croissants.
Today we're going to talk all about Paris.